It was time to go back to Thailand for my final year of high school. My final year of high school, I didn't make any best friends once again. My best friend who had been in Thailand had moved to Canada. As for myself, I did end up making a best friend eventually. And his name was Daniel Fisher, and here's a picture of him. Daniel Fisher was a great guy to talk with and converse with. He had such an open mind. He too was like me. He came from England and he lived in Thailand when he was young, since he was young, displaced from his home country. I actually knew Daniel Fisher from the days that I had spent earlier when I was with Yubi, but we never really became friends that time. We spent time, but we didn't really become close friends until I returned to Thailand later. And we also had a lot of sleepovers. We loved to watch movies, and he had great taste in movies. He probably had a big influence over my taste in movies. It was really great the way he would discuss, and he would always ask really good questions, and the questions would make you think. He kind of taught me how questions were a great way of maybe even showing people their biases, and just kind of asking them to explain. So if you explain your bias, but you don't know it's a bias until you start to explain it, then you start to realize, hey, yeah, that maybe doesn't really make sense. Questions are a great way of disarming people and just letting them think about what their own beliefs are, and to really criticize themselves in a certain sense. So long as those questions aren't too obvious. It's just like, maybe even they seem interested. So they're asking you the question, maybe they want to change their point of view and giving you the chance to explain yourself. Maybe during the course of explaining yourself, you think, yeah, maybe I'm not so right on this point. The questions are great, and Daniel Fisher was very open-minded and loved talking with him. That picture of him that I showed, he's holding my very first ever CD that I ever made. I don't even consider it my CD anymore. Just the quality is terrible, it's horrendous. I still think some of the songs have potential. From time to time I'll take it out and I'll give it a listen and remember. This is really emotional times for me these days. But he supported me, and maybe if it wasn't for him and his support, I might not be where I am today with my music. And same with, thank you, really supported my musical endeavors. To this day I haven't given up. I haven't given up the dream of trying to make music as my job. I just really wish I could do that. I spent 1 year after I graduated in Thailand working part-time, teaching English at a kindergarten, saving up money for when I would return to Canada. I returned to Canada with my money, the intent of going to university. But I decided to work there for 1 year to help me settle in, get back into the culture, try to readapt if you will, but it was tough. I was able to reconnect with and Rami and Alan. But once again, things weren't exactly the same. This time I brought with me my fiancée at the time. Although my fiancée wasn't from Thailand, she was actually Filipino-Canadian. It's a difficult situation, I don't really want to talk about it, but I think at that point, I kind of rubbed on my friends the wrong way somehow. Maybe not Sergey as much, but maybe some of them still resented the fact that I'd left and we'd lost touch for a while. And it was that same feeling, like you're coming back and you want to have the same relationship you used to have, but you can't have it anymore. It's just not the same to have this little square face on Facebook as your friend. It's actually having a real relationship, real friends. I think people know that. People know that. To have all my best friends throughout my years just be relegated to a tiny little square on a peer network website. To have a relationship substituted by momentary blurbs. I declare that is tragic. I really miss those times. They just have friends, and you kind of feel like you let them down, especially after I came back to Thailand again. It was kind of an emergency, but I wouldn't have the opportunity to tell anyone. I was leaving for good again. Especially my friend Sergey. I don't think he understood. Of course he didn't understand. I mean, he understood exactly what I was doing, and I still understand what I was doing at that point. I was leaving my friend. My friends had gone pretty close to Ellen too, and I just left without saying anything. It was an emergency. Until now, I haven't been able to find a relationship like that again. To whom it may concern. To all those who I've had to leave. To all those whose lives were shared with me. To all those who shared part of their soul, and who received in return part of mine. But to whom I caused sorrow and sadness, I do apologize. I do apologize. I miss you guys. Thanks for all the good times.